trust in the Lord, and do good. So shalt thou dwell in the land, and verily thou shalt be fed. Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart. Commit thy way unto the Lord. Trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. That comes from the highest authority in heaven and earth. No matter what has happened to you, no matter what will happen to you tomorrow or the day after that, you do not have to be defeated. You do not have to be beaten on a single score. So far as God is concerned and his resources, no man, no woman need ever be a failure. And it's just like that. The Christian need not be afraid of anything. And he can use everything. Jesus said once, nothing outside a man can defile him. It is what comes from him that defiles him. In other words, your reaction to what happens to you determines the result. It's what you do with that thing. It's your own personal reaction to that thing when it comes into that life of yours that determines the result. You know, victorious vitality is a vitality that's capable of mastering everything because it can use everything. It can lay hold on the raw materials of human living, justice and injustice, pleasure and pain, compliment and criticism, good and bad, the sunshine and the rain. And it can take these things and use them regardless of the circumstances. A Christian can use anything and everything for good. And it's just like that. Do you want to know something? If you keep spiritually vital, you can handle any situation in this life, regardless of how tough it may be. If you keep your heart aglow with the love of God, so that your life is full of spiritual radiance, nothing can break you. I'll put that forth as a challenge to you. I know. Remember, I'm a part of humanity too. You regard me as a minister, a preacher, and yet, beloved, first of all, I am a human being. I am a part of humanity, just as you are a part of humanity. I am not immune from sickness, even though I may preach divine healing, and I believe in the power of God to heal, and yet, beloved, my flesh, this physical body of mine, is not immune to sickness. I consider myself one who loves God with all of my heart. And yet, beloved, remember, I have my trials, I have my burdens, I have my disappointments, I have my problems. When I come into your home, and when I say to you, no matter what your problems are, no matter what your troubles are, as long as God is still on his throne and hears and answers prayer, and just so long as your faith in him is still intact, everything will come out all right. Beloved, you'd be amazed how many times I'm talking to Kathryn Kuhlman. I'm saying, look here, old girl. Sure, those problems are big. Sure, those troubles are big troubles. But just remember, as long as God is still God Almighty, as long as He still holds the reign, as long as He still has all power in heaven and earth, and you are His child, you belong to Him, then all that is His is yours, and all that is yours is His. And as His child, He's interested in every detail of your life. How in the world can you be defeated? It's impossible. God knows no defeat. It is impossible for God to know defeat. Therefore, if you are His child, His property, He's not going to permit you to go down into defeat as long as you are spiritually vital. As long as you are living in the center of His will, drawing on His resources, drawing on His strength, walking in the light as He is in the light, you cannot be defeated. It's impossible. The danger that you may be broken by circumstances, situations, or conditions comes only when you let yourself cool off spiritually. When you get away from that close contact with Him, that's when all of your troubles come. And all that I've been able to observe in human life bears out exactly what the Bible tells us, that the people who are nearest to God in their living and in their thoughts do the best with tough situations. They are strengthened within themselves. They develop wisdom. They develop insight that are from beyond this world. Who knows how to handle the tougher problems of this mixed up, complicated world without benefit of something more than just our human knowledge? Nobody. Nobody. That's the reason folk who do not draw on God's resources go down in defeat. You can't do it. Only to the degree that we learn to draw help from the mind of God, from the person of God, from God's power, do we bring order out of chaos. And it's just like that. You know, the late Henry Ford was surely one of the great figures of American life. And we all agree that he was a very successful businessman, a very successful man when it came to managing dollars and cents and industry. But there was something more important than that regarding Henry Ford. He was a successful human being. Regardless of how much of a success that you may be in business, you are still not truly a success if you are not a successful human being. You may be a success so far as getting in the dollars. You may be a millionaire so far as material things are concerned. You may have everything that the human heart may desire, so far as material things are concerned. But in reality, with all of this, if you are not a success at being a human being, then you are not a true successful person. It's like that. The greatest success in the world to any human being is to be a successful human being, having learned how to live in Christ Jesus. Well, it was the late Henry Ford, when he was asked the secret of his success as a human being. He said, I have a few simple rules, for I am essentially a very simple person. First of all, he said, I do not eat too much. Second, I do not worry too much. And third, I put my faith in God, and then I do my best, my very best, and then I believe that whatever happens is for the best. And it's just like that. Oh, I think that's great. I plan well, I work hard, I leave nothing to be taken for granted. I pray about it. If someone disappoints me, if something goes wrong, doesn't work out the way I want it, there's nothing more that I can do about it. I've done my best. I'll tell you what's wrong with most folk. They never have gotten to the place where they have put forth every effort possible, so far as they are concerned, to do their best, to give their best. They wait for God to do it all. They wait for God to put it in their pocket. They wait for God to put it in their hands. No, beloved. Some people have the wrong idea entirely of it. I'll tell you a secret. Now, I believe in faith. You know I believe in faith. Oh, with every atom of my being. But I don't just sit around and wait for things to happen and just sit around and wait for God to do it all. No. If I did that, I'd still be sitting in Concordia, Missouri. But I'll tell you a big secret. I work like all depends on me, and I pray like all depends on God. And when something happens, and I have gotten to the place where I've done my best, I can do no more, I turn it over to Him, and I say, here, God, you take over from here on. And then whatever happens, it's your responsibility. I'm not going to worry about it. Every night of my life, I go to bed just like that. I look up and I say, dear God, I'm dog-tired, and you know I am. I've worked 16 hours today, and in those 16 hours, I've done my dead-level best. Oh, sure, I've made mistakes during those hours, and I'm sorry. I didn't do it deliberately. I tried. I did the best that I knew how to do it. I've got to get some sleep now, Lord. I turn the whole thing over to you. I turn those problems over to you. I turn those precious people over to you. I put them into your care and your keeping. I prayed until there isn't a prayer left in me. I worked until I'm exhausted. I have not withheld anything in my own body, any strength in my own body. I commit them to you, and there's nothing more I can do about it. From here on out, you take over. And he always does. Always. I plan well. I work hard. I pray about it. And then I turn the rest over to God. And there's nothing to worry about. You want to know something? If we're to live a serene, a happy, a calm, an effective life, we've got to master this art. You've got to get to the place where you have the ability to take whatever comes. No matter what comes, no matter what happens. You've got to have the ability to take whatever comes. Meet it calmly. Keep your mental processes operating. Keep the sources of divine power open. And at all times and under all circumstances, do the best you can. I always think about what Paul said, and this was exactly what he meant. Having done all, stand. Having done the best you can, stand. Oh, I have seen people that when a crisis would come, when troubles would come, they would throw up their hands and say, "Oh, I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take another thing. I can't stand this." And you look at them, and it's long before you see them trembling. Oh, every nerve in their body is feeling the effects and what it is doing to them physically. Their mind is being affected to the place where they're not even thinking clearly. When you have done all you can do, what more can you do? Don't go and do it all over again. Just stand and have faith. I believe that everything in the Bible will work. I believe that. There is no technique that's stated in the Bible that won't work. None that I've ever seen. And I've been around a few years. The mere fact that sometimes it doesn't work does not mean that there's anything wrong with the principle. The wrong is with the people who are trying to work it. Paul said, I have learned. Watch what he said. I have learned. I wasn't born with this. I have learned through experiences. In whatsoever state I am, therewith to be content. It is merely a quaint, old-fashioned way of saying, I have learned the skill of taking things as they come, of not getting myself all upset, or in a stew, or in a mess, or in a dither. I have learned to take whatever comes and take it calmly because I have God. And God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble.